So as we come to the last meeting of the Interfaith Fellowship this spring, I'm just wondering if you guys would comment for a moment on what you've appreciated about this opportunity to work as an Interfaith Fellow, what you've learned, what your thoughts are for going forward, anything you'd like to share. Kathy, do you want to start?
Sure. I'm Kathy Gottschalk. I've really appreciated the honesty and the forthcoming with all the fellows. I've learned a lot of different techniques that have been helpful in my life to deal with strenuous or different circumstances. And so I've really enjoyed that, and I really appreciate the honesty and the forthcomingness from all the fellows to be able to talk about difficult things.
Thanks for sharing that, Kathy. Do you want to say anything more about an example of a difficult thing that you appreciated being able to talk about?
Just the different religious perspectives on how everybody believes differently, and how that's okay to believe things that are different than what you do, and to appreciate those differences and be able to accept that and to move forward without causing any type of distress.
That's great. Remind us how you identify. What's your orientation?
I identify as spiritual but not religious, but I did grow up in a Catholic tradition.
Okay. Well, it's been so awesome having you as an Interfaith Fellow, and I'm sorry that this group is kind of breaking up, but I know everybody's going to go off and do awesome things. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Who else wants to share? Should I call on somebody?
I'd like to share. Being a part of the Interfaith Fellows this semester has been really an awesome experience. And I'll share kind of one specific example of, I guess, the power of working with a diverse group. And that is, I prefer to talk and to treat situations as if everyone that we're kind of referring to is there. So for example, I think it's easy when everyone has the same mindset to create an in-group and an out-group. It's what we see on campus, it's what we see, and that's kind of what we're fighting. And when we have a diverse group of people, it makes it so we can't create those in-groups and out-groups in the same way. When we have different people of different faith traditions and different backgrounds all present, it creates a more honest discussion of who people are and what it really means for people to be different one from another. And so it was a really beautiful experience to have everyone be present, and it's really difficult to make an exclusionary statement when everyone identifies differently. So that was really powerful, really great.
Thanks, Miles. Remind us how you identify. What's your orientation around religion?
So I right now identify in the realm of Mormon theology, but it's complicated and always moving and changing and everything. So, yeah.
Oh, I like that, because it also just is another example of how, speaking about your in-groups and your out-groups, one of the things that sounds like you guys have all sort of realized is that people are pretty complicated, right? And it's not, a one-size-fits-all. And even that personal identification is an example of complications. So we get to find out the richness of all of the different facets of people in doing this process. And I think that's what I hear you saying.
Definitely.
Thank you for sharing. Who else has something to say about what this experience has been like?
I do. It's like the first time I when starting college that I felt like I could actually make a difference and be some part of something bigger. And it was really nice to have all these people who I got to know really well, and I'm going to be sad when I no longer see them once a week, but also that we're all passionate about the same thing, and we may have different outlooks on it, but it can come together to form something.
Like that. Sheree, I really have to say, one of the things I have so appreciated about you this semester is your insistence on being authentic and encouraging the rest of us to be authentic and to not hide behind the sort of facile descriptions, but to really be vulnerable and show up and be willing to, say stuff that's hard to say. And I think you've really sort of brought that forward. And I think it's enriched everyone in our presence together. And remind us how you identify.
Spiritual, but not religious. Yeah, it's not, as you can see, it's kind of just evolved into everything in my life.
Yeah, I remember last time when we got together and you took us on a little tour around your room and to see your altar and some of the other, objects that sustain you in a spiritual practice. I think that was really moving to see also, the way that our various identities help to sustain us in this kind of really difficult time. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll miss being together with you too.
I am going to miss you all.
So who's next?
I'll go. This was a really cool semester for me because, we've sat in classes and talked about interfaith, but we were actually able to apply it. So for me, that was like the eye-opener, and the takeaway was learning how to apply like our different backgrounds and talents and actually doing interfaith work on campus. And part of that, like, that there's not a right way to do it, like, and just learning together through the process, like what it takes to start those conversations on campus and to just learn through that process together. And for me, it was cool because like Kaden and I were in a religion, peace and violence class at the same time. And there was a component in which we talked about interfaith work. And so it was cool to see the dialogue as we posted our presentations from this group there and hear people's takeaways, and just like some people ask, like, how did you get involved with interfaith work? And so just being able to continually practice like our ethics and narratives and just see other people kind of rally around that and contribute was really cool for me.
That's awesome. And you're taking this forward in an interesting way. So what's your next step, Don?
I'm going to Chicago Theological Seminary to become a chaplain, and I'm looking at doing the chaplain emphasis, of course, but then also having the interfaith component because they have a lot of work that they do there in conjunction with the youth corps with Ibo Patel. So I'm very excited about it.
That's cool. And remind me one more time, everybody who might be watching this, how do you identify? What's your orientation around religion?
I identify as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Don. I'm really excited about your next steps and getting a chance to be in Chicago, where the home of Interfaith Youth Corps. You'll really be able to carry the mission forward and represent Utah State University moving forward in the future. So thank you for that. Kaden, you're up. Thoughts?
Yeah. My big takeaway has been, I think, on a very personal level, the way that we've been able to, like you said, be authentic and to come from different perspectives and different backgrounds and to disagree on things, but to come together in a space and to have dialogue and to be empathetic and understanding with a group of people, which I didn't really think was possible before this point. I always was comfortable with that kind of a dialogue one-on-one, but seeing that we were able to be understanding and to like I said, be empathetic first off, is very emotionally validating on hard days that I had over the last 6 months, but like the power that I felt in such a small group of people, it kind of reminds me of Margaret Mead of, I can't remember how the quote goes, but a small group of dedicated people could change the world, basically. And so it was a very emotional takeaway, I think, that I will remember for a really long time.
I love that. I never remember her quote exactly either, but it's something like, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, informed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that. And tell us again how you identify.
I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yes. Awesome. Well, you guys have been the sort of the inaugural group of the Interfaith Fellows, and I'm really hopeful that we can continue forward with this initiative on campus. I personally would say that while the last few weeks have been incredibly challenging, not being able to be with you all in person and having only these Zoom conferences, I'm gonna tear up. I've also seen really kind of the blessing in this, because we kind of took a really hard situation. I know you guys all planned so hard for this campus-wide interfaith dinner that actually got canceled the same day that we were going to do the dinner, because that was the day that all campus events got canceled because of the COVID-19 crisis. And you just stepped up, and we brainstormed together, and we thought about how we might use this time as a way of moving interfaith dialogue and understanding forward into different platforms. And now we have a YouTube channel, and you've created some amazing YouTubes, and some of my fellow colleagues and professors are using those YouTubes in their classes, and people out there in the world can see the amazing work that you've done by going to the YouTube channel. And it just is, I think, a way that you have been able to channel hope in a time that for a lot of people has been really about feeling marginalized and feeling isolated and feeling anxious and feeling hopeless. And you've really been able to think creatively about new ways of building community in meaningful ways. And I think that's awesome, and lessons that people going forward, regardless of where we're at with the physical distancing in the fall, I think you guys have set the bar pretty high and given us a lot of ideas for how we can move forward with this kind of work. So I just want to thank you all for bringing your passions and your interests and your respective talents and your authenticity and your vulnerability and your just willingness to be present to the table. And I believe in you as interfaith leaders of the future. I think regardless of what you end up doing, next year, whether you continue here at USU or whether you're graduated and off doing other things, I'm excited for what the future holds. So thanks.